Crazy times, eh? Crazy times. Welcome to your Millennial Unfiltered Mother podcast, aka Your M.U.M podcast. I'm your host, Christiana, and yes, I'm back with another episode. I know it's been a while, it's been a minute, but we're going to get into why it's been a while and it's been a minute. But let's start off with, it's nuts out there right now. Like, I'm not ever going to lie, it's crazy. These coronavirus times, these COVID-19 times are very scary. It's very real, people. It's real. Yeah. I'd be the first to admit that I was one of the ones still running street. Do you know what I mean? Maskless, gloveless, still going to work when this was all kicking off. It was just something that I was seeing on the news. It was just something that I was reading in newspapers, and it was almost like a joke thing. You know what I mean? When this whole thing sort of started. But I was just going to work because, I just kind of felt like I had no choice. Like, that was just what was going to keep happening. And it didn't really hit me until it started to affect work. Like, I obviously, from our last podcast, I work as head of sales and events for an event venue, 2 event venues. But that's basically what I do. So when people just started dropping out, like, events were no longer happening, organisers were cancelling and asking for refunds and all of that. That's when I really started to sort of feel the impact of coronavirus, when it was starting to affect my work. So initially I was like, why are these people moving mad? Like, why are you like, this isn't this isn't that deep. It's not that deep. And so then a lot of the time I wasn't really, empathetic. I wasn't really compassionate about people's reasons for wanting to cancel. I was like, well, T's and C's and all of this. Like, I was just sort of basically, thinking about work and stuff like that. I really wasn't thinking about what their reasons were. But then it just kept happening. It kept happening and it kept affecting work. And then my boss was on holiday at the time. And then when it was, becoming a lot more serious, people were starting to take it a bit more serious, it started to obviously affect her business. So even on a holiday, she was all hollering, saying, right, we need to do this. And, since I was here, it was like, right, I need to really step my game up and, do what I can for the business and stuff like that. I was not thinking about my health. I wasn't thinking about that. Just wasn't on my mind. Still, every morning was dropping my son off to nursery, and I was starting sort of half an hour earlier than what I normally do as well. Like, I was proper getting in early, leaving late. Like, it was literally all about work for me when this pandemic started. And as we were just sort of listening to sort of Boris's announcements and stuff, again, like, I was only thinking about work. I was thinking, right, how is this going to affect work? Right, we're going to expect this much fallout. Right, how do we sort of combat this? What promotion can we run just to sort of curb, and I didn't start to think about myself, think about my health and everything until, they enforced shutting down bars and everything, and then they enforced shutting down schools and nurseries, because then, do you know what I mean? Then it's like, right, we have to close the business. And now that the nursery is closed, I can no longer take, Seth to nursery, so I have to now work from home. And still, it just was like, work was in my mind, was in my brain, and I wasn't really paying attention to what was really actually going on. This was a global health pandemic. You know what I mean? People were dying from this every single day. And it just wasn't clocking until I stopped. Until the weekend after the school shut and after the bars and clubs shut and everything. That weekend was when I was like, okay, whoa. Do you know what I mean? And even when I was going to work, I was seeing so many masks. Even me, I was very conscious about sitting next to people and, being in like the busier carriages and sort of wearing my scarf over my face now. And I just started to do that because I started to feel some type of way. But it wasn't really till that weekend after they shut the schools where I was like, okay, this is serious. Like, I need to start thinking about my health now. I'm not thinking about work anymore. Sorry, you're just going to have to just take a back seat just for now. Because I have to think about my health. I have to put my son first. I have to put myself first. I have to sort of think about these things and take measures. And, we were still expected to go to work just to sort of have like a quick meeting before we all sort of work from home. But then I had to be like, look, I can't leave my house. Like, I can't do it. It was then when I was like, I can't leave my house. Like, I'm not doing it. So I've been at home pretty much since the top of the week. This is my 5th day in quarantine. I've only been out to the supermarket. It's like, not like a proper supermarket, just like Sainsbury's local to get, just the bare minimum, the bare necessities. That's it. Like, but pretty much I've just been at home. And it's been tough. I'm not going to lie. It's been tough. It's been tough. And I'll tell you why it's been tough. I'll go through why it's been tough. One of the reasons why it's been tough is because obviously Seth is a toddler. He's 2 years old. He's a big ball of energy and he loves nursery. Like, from all the feedback I get about him, he's just run out the place, running everyone ragged. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's like sort of the life and soul. He's just like, always busy in himself. And that's great. That's what I like to hear. Do you know what I mean? I like to hear that he's active, that he's continually learning, that he's, making friends and that he's, getting on with everyone. Even when I drop him in the morning, he's running to the door, running up the stairs, taking off his jacket on the stairs. Like, he's just not playing any games. He loves it there. So I've kind of felt bad because I'm still working from home. Like, I am actually working and I'll have my laptop in front of me first thing. And it's like, I can't get that much done with him around because I don't want to just sort of have my face buried in my laptop while Seth is literally climbing all over me, just sort of trying to get my attention and things like that. It's too hard. Like, I can't do that. So, I quickly run through my emails, what I can do, just do what I can literally while I put on like Paw Patrol and literally time myself to do something in 20 minutes that would normally take me like a while because I would take my time with it. So yeah, in that aspect, it can be tough. Like, I just kind of feel like my attention, my focus is just not on one thing and it's making things hard. And again, he's a toddler, so, I can't just sort of leave him to do his own thing. He won't leave me alone. Like, and, I have to entertain him. And I don't want him to feel bored all the time. Like, he has to constantly be active. So if it's just a quick one outside, just where the little park area is, where I can see and there's nobody there, if it's just like a quick swing thing and then come back upstairs, or if it is literally just to get a bit of fresh air, let him run up and down and then come back up, I'll try and do that. But it's like, I just always have to keep him entertained. And he's someone who doesn't need a nap. Like, he can go the whole day. Like, so I do kind of feel bad for him because he does kind of get all fidgety. He's constantly opening my fridge. He opens the fridge every minute and he's always just looking for something to eat. But I just kind of feel like he's just always looking for something to do. And he just always wants a yogurt, always wants an orange. And it's like, I don't think he's hungry. He's just bored. So that's quite tough. But we're getting through it. And, it's so far so good. I've sort of made an agreement with his dad where while we're both sort of in quarantine, he has to have him for half the week. Like, we're splitting this. The government have not really made it very clear. They're changing the rules as they go. Yeah? And this is what I'm not in the mood for. You understand? 1 minute, they're releasing a statement where it's like children can go between homes. Like small children under the age of, I think it was 14, was it? Or 16? I don't know. I don't care. Yeah. But small children can go between homes. That was said. And then there was an interview where Michael Gove was asked, and then he just point blank was like, don't have your kids in between homes. He just point blank said it. And she was like, well, literally just released a statement saying that you could. So which is it? Do you know what I mean? So I'm sitting there going, no, like, I'm not doing it. Like, I'm someone who gets it. I get why we are in quarantine. There's some people talking quarantine, and they ain't quarantined. Yeah? They've been out and about. Like, you're not quarantined. You've not been quarantining. Do you know what I mean? But I actually have. So I get it. I get the purpose and I understand. But this is my thing. You can't say that. It's too difficult. It's too difficult to say, oh, you know, this parent, because this child is at this parent's house at the moment, this is where they're staying for the foreseeable. What are you talking about? Nah, I'm sorry. Because imagine now, because Seth is with his dad right now. Imagine now they release a statement saying no kids are to leave the house until further notice. No kids leave the house. Imagine this tell me this, yeah? Try to tell me till further notice I can't see my child. Okay, no. Okay, sorry, no. I'm just not having it. So how we've done it in terms of co-parenting is this. We've agreed to split the week 50-50 since we're both at home and we're both working from home. We're both going to need that time to focus on work and to focus on our child. So let's split the responsibility. We're not going to move in together, obviously. Do you know what I mean? So it's a case where let's split the responsibility and cool. But we both need to be absolutely sure and absolutely careful that we've been self-isolating. Do you know what I mean? If he's been running street, do you know what I mean? He's not going to be irresponsible enough to take our child and then just sort of, you know, be carrying on as if to say he's not been roaming street. Neither of us are irresponsible like that. If I've been running street, I'm not going to now be like, yeah, bring him home. Because I know that I've been exposing myself to all kinds. So as long as we're both careful, as long as both households have been very careful and have been isolating, I don't see why a child can't go from the house into their own car, into, you know, the other person's house, and then that's it. Like, it's not like we're taking public transport. It's not like, you know, we're doing all of that. It's literally we're being very careful. So as far as I'm concerned, as long as we're both isolated in our households, we are sharing the responsibility. End of. Like, that's it. I'm not having this. And another reason why this could be difficult for quite a few people, and I've sort of thought about this over the last sort of couple of days. If you've suffered or you are suffering from like a mental illness, you know, or from anxiety, and things like that, this could be really hard. This can be really hard. Do you know what I mean? There's so many people that are saying things like, all you got to do is just sit at home and watch Netflix. That's it. That's all they're asking you to do. Just chill at home and watch Netflix. Like, I do kind of feel like those statements are a bit insensitive. It's insensitive because you don't know what you're talking about. For some people, sitting at home and just watching Netflix is very hard. It's hard. There's some people who are workaholics. There's some people who need structure, who need it for their own mental well-being. Do you know what I mean? And for it to just switch and turn on its head and stuff like that, and it's nobody's fault. Do you know what I mean? But there's just certain things that they need just for their mental well-being. And now they're worried about their job, they're worried about their future, they're worried about their health, they're worried about all these things whilst having to stay at home and not be allowed out, and not be allowed to do nothing. And, you know, that can, for someone who has a history of mental illness, that can be tough. So when I'm seeing all these little videos of police officers yelling in their little thing, talking about go home, go home, go home, I really wish that I'm seeing more videos where they're approaching people, obviously not too close, and having a conversation and finding out why they are actually out. Because I know that some people just need that fresh air, just need to go for a walk, need to see another human face. Do you know what I mean? And, are just bombarded with their own sort of dark thoughts at home. When we're all not in jail, do you know what I mean? We're all, the feeling of not being free can be quite hard for some people. So I just kind of feel like have a bit of compassion. If you're seeing someone out and, they're going for a walk, they seem like they're just sort of whatever, then just sort of have a conversation standing 2 meters away. Just be like, you all right, love? Do you know what I mean? And find out what they're doing. If they are just being blatantly defiant, now cuss them. But I know, speaking from someone who has suffered from mental illness, and who has had, sort of mental health problems in the past, I know how this can be quite troubling, because the first few days I actually found really stressful, because I just kind of started to panic. I started to go, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? Is my work going to be affected? And oh no, I needed structure. Having structure and going to work full time has actually really helped me in terms of a lot of things, and it's made me kind of feel a lot more confident. It's given me this, it's given me that. And now all of a sudden it stopped. So of course so the first couple of days I started to panic a little bit, and not anything too drastic, but I was just as soon as I stopped thinking about work, I started thinking about what was really happening. I started to go, oh my gosh, this is a lot. But then now it's okay, I get up, I do some work, I play with Seth, we go out this time, he has a nap this time. I'm creating a kind of structure, I'm giving myself a work area to work, and everywhere else is just where I need to, be in mummy mode. When he's with his dad, right, record podcasts, do more work, I'm creating my own kind of structure at the end of the day. At the first couple of days, panic. But then when I realised, all right, this is what I need to sort of get through this. But it's that not knowing how long it's going to go on for, and not knowing how it's going to affect finances and bills and stuff like that, that can get a bit stressful. But for someone who is really suffering from a proper mental illness, this can be a lot. So we need to have compassion, and don't just think that people are out just to be out. There's some people really struggling to stay at home because they know that, the government can't help them if they have to help themselves. So therefore they have to risk their own lives to go out and do what they need to do. So before you start telling people to just watch TV and just whatever, just sort of be mindful of all different kinds of situations. But it's real. It's real. And I am hoping everyone is staying safe at the end of the day. That's what you need to do. Stay safe, be safe, think about yourself, think about others around you. And if you're experiencing any mild symptoms, literally isolate. That's all I can say. Don't go to the shop. Ask someone to go for you. Just really think about others. If you're experiencing mild symptoms, the very mildest of symptoms, just think about others before you trek to the local shop to buy paracetamol or whatever. Think about what that could do. And that's all I can say. So I'm glad to have recorded this episode. It's been taking long. I'm about to record 4 more. Yeah, I'm on a roll. Yeah, let's start using our time wisely, peeps. Yeah, because I know everyone's thinking I'm just sitting down doing TikTok videos. And yes, I am. And I'm enjoying it. I'm reliving youth, because I know that as soon as work resumes, social media is gone for me again. So I'm living my best life on TikTok. I've just found this Voicey app. I'm going to be doing all that. So thanks, guys, for listening. And I look forward to having you back on the next one. All right. Bye-bye.